Hey everybody, welcome to the Elevate Talk Show. I am your host, Deanna Johnson Cauthen.
And I'm Adrianna Cauthen, your co-host, and we're the mother-daughter talk show that's here to elevate your family. If you haven't done so already, please take a second to like this video and to subscribe so that you don't miss any of our upcoming episodes.
Yes, and in today's episode, we are going to take you around the town, one of my favorite segments of the show, to Charleston, South Carolina. And then we'll be moving on to our perspective segment. That's the segment where Adrianna and I talk about a particular topic. In today's topic, we're going to basically continue our conversation from last week about communication skills. How to better those skills so that you can get along better and connect better with your family members and with others. And then in our continuing the conversation time, I am going to be sharing with you the second part of my interview with my husband, where we specifically talk about communication skills as it relates to your significant other. So lots of great stuff today. Adrianna, share with them what you're going to be doing.
Yes, so in our Meal of the Week segment, I'm going to be showing you how to make a super easy Mexican Chicken Tortilla Soup. And it's a great recipe for this time of year. I mean, it's good if you're in an area where it's still chilly, but it can still be eaten in warmer weather too.
And let me tell you, if you have sinus issues, this soup will open you right up. Am I telling the truth?
Yeah, it is. It's got a kick to it.
Oh, it's got a real kick to it. So you definitely want to stay tuned for that. Hey, we need to take a break, but don't go away. We will be right back. Welcome back to the Elevate Talk Show. And now we are going to be doing our perspective segment. This is the segment where Adrianna and I talk about a particular topic, and we're gonna basically continue our topic from last week, which was talking about how to better your communication skills. Communication skills are important for all relationships. In this case, we're talking about how to improve your communication skills so that you can connect better with your family, but these skills also translate to connecting better with pretty much anybody.
Yeah.
Right? People you work with, your neighbors, friends, whoever. But let's talk about communication styles, for instance. I think that really factors into understanding how the people in your family communicate, understanding their temperaments, their personalities. For instance, you're an introvert, I'm an extrovert.
Yeah.
We have our sleep schedules are very different, and you might think, what's sleep schedule have to do with communication? But it factors in quite a bit. What do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely a big deal. I mean, my mom is an early bird. She is up very early in the morning. I am a night owl. I am not a morning person.
No.
And there are lots of times when I come out of my room at 8 or 8:30 in the morning, and my mom has already been up for hours, and she's buzzing with ideas, and she's got all these things to tell me, and I can't process it because I'm just trying to figure out how to stand up and stay vertical.
Exactly. See, if I'm up by 5:30 and she's up by 8:30, I've been up 3 hours.
Yeah, it's almost like we're in a different time zone.
Yeah.
It's like she lives in New York and I live in California.
Exactly. So she's just kind of getting the sleep out of her eyes, and I'm like, Adrianna, I've got this great idea for the show. And by the way, do you want to go shopping? And also, I heard this terrific joke. Hey, do you want to see this meme that I saw on it? And she's like, huh? Who are you? It's crazy. So me understanding that she needs a little bit of time before she can get going. She doesn't really, you don't even do coffee, so it's not like you even get the caffeine.
Yeah, not even getting jolted awake by the
Now,
caffeine.
by that time, I've had my second cup of tea, which doesn't have quite as much caffeine as coffee, but it has some caffeine, which further serves to feed my energy levels. So I think understanding that and not being offended, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or feeling like somehow you're slighted, or the person's being unkind or unloving. It's just understanding that we're different.
Yeah. And
we've got to find a way to meet in the middle. I think that's a real big part of it. But I also think another aspect of communication is, there's that, what do you call, generation gap too. She's 20, and we're not talking about just communication between her and I, but I think that this is a good thing to bring up. I think this is a good issue to discuss. You're 20, there are things that, there are ways you communicate as a Generation Xer? Is that what you
Z? Yeah.
That are very different from me, which I am considered, depending on what chart you look at, I'm considered like
a baby boomer.
On the very tail end of being a baby boomer, or whatever the next one was.
Of Generation X.
X, I think it's X. So my style, I like, well, as an extrovert, I just like to talk. But there are other things that I like to do. As an extrovert and and coming from a different generation.
Yeah,
and I've
you
had
really
to,
like phone calls.
I do. I like talking on the phone. I like, other types of things, and you don't necessarily like that. And like I said, that doesn't necessarily affect the way you and I communicate, but I've looked at how you communicate even with your friends, and I've thought to myself, why doesn't she do that? Why don't you phone a friend?
Yeah, but like we don't really like phone calls, at least a lot of people in our generation, because it almost feels like the equivalent of somebody like randomly dropping by your house.
Really?
Because it's like you're expected to drop everything and talk to the person.
Yeah.
A lot of people my age, like if we do want to do a phone call,
yes,
we will generally like text each other and
yes,
schedule it ahead of time. Like I've done that with my friends.
Yeah.
And we also do like to plan out video chats so that we have that face-to-face visual component too.
Which is nice. So really looking at how you communicate with your friends has really been an eye-opening experience for me, because I'm thinking, I remember when I was a teenager, you're just now 20, but so just getting out of your teens. But all I wanted to do was be with my friends, go to the mall, talk on the phone, whereas things look very different for you and your friends.
Yeah.
And I think understanding how communication has changed across the generations is important to know, so that you don't judge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that is another thing. Because younger people, we connect with our friends so differently that sometimes your parent might think that you have this child that's very antisocial and has no friends, even though they're actually having meaningful connections.
Exactly.
Because like me and my friends, we don't always meet up in person, but there's lots of times when I will get on Google Meets or FaceTime with my friends, and we will talk, and we will help each other with homework.
Right.
Or,
you've tutored your friends. Yeah. And so it just looks different, and I think it's important to understand that, just so that we can understand that communication can happen in a lot of different ways. Well, we need to take a little break, but don't go away. We've got more planned for you. We will be right back. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Elevate Talk Show, and in today's Continuing the Conversation segment, my mom will be sitting down with my dad, Andrew Cauthen, to talk about how you can better communicate with your significant other.
Yes, we spent time last week in our previous conversation, in the first part of our interview, talking about various components that make for good communication and that strengthen the bond of love between spouses. But we were only able to get through the first part of it, so we wanted to make sure we didn't leave anything out. So we're doing part 2 of that. So we will be continuing to share some components to better your communication with your spouse and to increase the vibes, the good vibes, in your relationship. So please turn your attention to part 2 of our interview about communication. Number 4, understand how your spouse communicates. This is big, because we're very different in how we communicate. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think you have to become a student of your spouse's way of communication. We talk about the different love languages.
Yes, definitely.
There are different communication languages.
Yeah. I'm definitely an external processor.
Yeah, and I think there are times when couples, it's almost like they're speaking a different language, the two people. But so you've got to learn how your partner talks, how they communicate, how they process.
For sure.
Because a conversation. It may not last just 15 minutes or whatever. It may be a few days. Or you may ask a question. And want me to respond, and I need to think about it for a day.
I've learned that. One of the things that I remember happening to us, or you finding out about me over the course of our marriages, you know, not everything I say at that moment means that I'm going to actually do that.
Right.
You know, because I think in the beginning you were scared because I would say, you know what, I'm just going to go and I'm going to go buy that new whatever. And I think I'm going to buy X, Y, and Z. And you were like, really? That costs $500? Really? And I'm like, I'm just talking.
Right.
I'm just figuring out. I may not buy. I'm still just processing. I'm processing out loud, whereas you process very differently, don't you think?
Yeah, and also, you speak very passionately.
Yes. Yeah.
And and I think in the beginning I translated some of that as you being angry or upset. When you
I
weren't.
wasn't. Right. I wasn't exactly. And so I think and now 21 years in, you're like, oh, okay. It's all good.
Yeah.
She's probably not going to do this. She's not really landed on that yet.
Right.
She's still flying around the idea. So it understanding how your spouse communicates really betters
and you know that when I say something, it's as good as done. It may already be done.
You're like, I've been researching this thing for my bicycle, this piece that I needed, and I think I found the piece. And the next thing I know, Amazon's at the door.
Right.
So I'm like, oh God, really? Okay, you bought it. Yeah. So understanding that is super important. And this next thing, practice patience. You would think that that's a no-brainer, but I think that it's worth belaboring the point. Practice patience with your spouse, and I think that is I think that's super important.
Yeah,
I think that's super important. And I think that taking time to just step back and to give yourself space and give them space to be who they are, and even come back to the situation if you feel like things are not resolved or it's becoming heated, to be able to step away from it and say, you know what, I'm going to give this some more thought.
Right.
I'm going to give this some more thought. I don't have to be all bent out of shape and upset about this right now. I trust that this person is a good person. And I don't understand it all, but I'm just going to step back and just kind of put this on the back burner and see what happens.
Yeah. Because there's some, sometimes there may be some change or some action that you want. Right. But it's really not that critical. Right. It's not life or death.
No,
it's not,
most of the time it's not.
Most of the time it's not detrimental to anything. No. And we can give that space. When you work for a company, and there is an issue, a lot of times a company, they will form a task force and study it for months and months and months before before they make a decision about what's going on. Right. So they are addressing that situation with some patience.
They really that is a form of patience,
right? And
I don't think we think of it like that.
Right?
Can we not give each other that kind of space?
Exactly.
And I think that one of the things, I know something happened. And this has happened not too often, but this was several weeks ago. You had asked me something. I wasn't feeling very well at that moment, and I forgot what was going on. What you asked me, something. It was, but I felt because I was already in an agitated state, I wasn't feeling well. You'd asked me something, and I kind of snapped. But you just kind of, you didn't snap back though. You just kind of got quiet. And then I went away and I came back and I thought, I guess I'm just not feeling well because I sort of overreacted there. But you gave me the grace of patience, and I think you've got to come into, I think every marriage, every relationship needs that grace.
Right. You got to look at the big picture.
You do.
And where does this little thing fit in the big mural of your marriage?
I like that. I like that alliteration. A couple other things, and I think this is super important. Express your needs specifically. Don't generalize. I think if you want your husband to fix the screen that's been broken on the window, or that's messed up, ask him to fix the screen. Or if you want to go out on a date at the end of the week, say, hey, it's been a while, can we go someplace to eat on Saturday? But this whole thing, you know what I meant, does not work.
Right, yeah. That you see that in couples. You see it on TV shows or whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
That is not communicating.
No.
When there's another saying: use your words. You tell our kids to use your words. Use your words.
You're on fire today. What you're saying?
Yeah. Use your words.
Yeah, you do need to, and you need to be. If you need help with dishes, loading the dishwasher. Say, can you load the dishwasher tonight? I am super tired.
Right.
But don't get up in the morning and say, you never helped me.
Right.
That's not
speaking
communicating.
in codes and riddles and all that kind of stuff. That doesn't work.
They'll be very specific. That that helps to avoid confusion.
Right.
And then this last one, an attitude of gratitude. I cannot say enough about this. I cannot say enough. Being grateful for your marriage, for your spouse, for your relationship, for who they are, thinking about the things that they do right, because more than not, they do exponentially more things right than they do wrong. Really just puts you in a very different state of mind. Mm-hmm. Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Than if you're always thinking about what they didn't do and what they didn't buy you or what you didn't get, or you know what I mean? I think it just puts you in a completely different place. Well, I appreciate you talking with me about communication. This has been good.
Yes, it has been. I've really enjoyed
talking
with you and being on the show again. And of course, I enjoy being married to you.
Well, there you go. It's mutual. The feeling's mutual. Thank you. Thank you for taking time out.
No problem.
We're going to take a short break, but we'll be back soon.
Well, we're going to take you around the town to a wonderful place, Charleston, South Carolina. We went there a few years back. A place of incredible history, good history, bad history. It's a place where there's so much beauty. They have there the Rainbow Row.
Yeah, the Rainbow Row with all the beautiful, colorful houses, and of course there's the beach. There's Folly Beach.
Yeah,
and we did lots of other things.
Yeah, we did lots of things. Lots of good eating places, lots of shopping in the main place, in the main street area, the downtown area. So tons and tons to do. The cobblestone streets. It's all there. It's all there for you to tour if you want to, tour with horse. Drawn carriages, they've got it all. So please stay with us. Turn your attention to our time in Charleston, South Carolina. This week, our Around the Town adventures take us to the beautiful city of Charleston, South Carolina. Charleston, a port city founded in 1670, is defined by its cobblestone streets, horse-drawn carriages, and pastel antebellum houses, particularly in the elegant French Quarter and Battery districts. On the first part of our tour, we traveled downtown to Meeting Street and we visited several venues, including the Confederate Museum, the United States Custom House, and the Charleston City Market, where people come from near and far to shop for artisan treats and handmade goods. We then made our way over to Joe Riley Waterfront Park, an 8-acre park along 1/2 mile of the Cooper River in Charleston. The park, with its paved walkway, lovely fountain features, and great views, is one of the most popular places to visit in the Charleston area. Next on the itinerary was a visit to Folly Beach for a few hours of sun, sand, water, and waves. After our visit to the beach, we traveled a short distance to Sullivan's Island, the home of the Gullah Geechee people, a community that retained more of the African culture than any other African American group, despite the ravages of slavery. While there, we visited Fort Moultrie, a series of fortifications on Sullivan's Island built to protect the city of Charleston during the American Revolution. Our final destination during our visit to Charleston took us to the Citadel, the Military College of South Carolina. Established in 1842, it is one of 6 senior military colleges in the United States. The gleaming white buildings, the pristinely manicured lawns, and the magnificent chapel reflects the pride of this institution. Charleston is a seaport city bursting with Southern charm, lots of great history, and we can't wait to return. Well, we hope you enjoyed our adventures in Charleston, South Carolina. We need to take a little break. Don't go away.
Welcome back to the Elevate Talk Show. And in today's Meal of the Week segment, I'm going to be showing you how to make a really easy, delicious Mexican tortilla soup.
Yes, it was, not only is it delicious, it's really got a kick, and for me that's pretty helpful because I have sinus issues, and it really opens you up, so I got a double bonus.
Yeah, and
it's filling, it's delicious, and it opened my sinuses.
Yeah, and it's really healthy. It's got a ton of vegetables, but it's still really delicious.
Yes.
So it's a great way to get your servings of vegetables in too.
Absolutely. So please turn your attention to Adrianna's Meal of the Week.
Hello, and welcome to our Meal of the Week segment. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to make a spicy Mexican chicken tortilla soup. So let's get started. Alright, so we're going to start off by sauteing our vegetables. So I'm going to start off by adding 3 diced zucchini, 2 jalapenos with the seeds, but if you don't like super spicy food, you can take the seeds out. This is 1 large bell pepper, 1 onion, and I'm just going to let these saute in the pan until they're soft. Alright, so now that we've sauteed all the vegetables, we're going to put everything together and build our soup. So I've got 6 cups of chicken broth right here. I made some homemade broth, but if you want to buy store-bought chicken broth, that's perfectly fine. It'll be just as good. So I'm just going to pour that in there. Then I have 2 large tomatoes. These are Cherokee purple tomatoes that I got from a farmer's market in North Carolina, but you can use any kind of tomatoes you want. I'm just going to stick those in there. And then I have chicken. I've got about 6 shredded chicken thighs that I cooked. And then I'm just going to put the vegetables that we just sauteed and add that to the soup. Alright, so now that we've got all those ingredients in there, we're going to add some spices. So I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of chili powder, I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika, and I'm going to add in 2 teaspoons of black pepper. So now I'm just going to stir this in there so that the spices are nice and well incorporated. Alright, so now that we've got all the soup ingredients in there, I'm going to cover this up. And I'm going to let it cook on medium heat for about 30 minutes. And then I'll be back to show you the final results. It's been about 30 minutes and the soup is ready and it's really delicious. So I'm just going to plate it up for you in this bowl and then I'll show you a close-up shot. So I'm going to just stir it and put some chicken and all the good stuff in there. This soup smells amazing and it's really colorful. You'll love it. It's just a perfect weeknight meal, especially if you like spicy foods, which I absolutely love. So I put some soup in the bowl. I'm going to stick a little more in there. And now I'm going to just put some fried tortilla strips on there, which are a very nice garnish. But if you don't want to make fried tortilla strips, you can buy them at the store, or you could just use regular tortilla chips as a garnish. So I'm going to show you a close-up shot. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's meal of the week, and I can't wait to see you again next time. Welcome back to the Elevate Talk Show. Our time together is almost over, but before we go, we've got a couple of things that we'd like to share with you. First of all, the Elevate Talk Show has created a new business directory, which is a great free resource to help you connect with new potential clients. So if you want to list your business in our new directory, subscribe to our channel, and then in the comments section, list the name of your business, your name, your phone number, your website, and your email, and we will add all of that information to our directory for free.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just a little way for us to support small businesses, to give back to members of our community. That's just our little gift to you. And speaking of gifts, we have a new batch of our Elevate refrigerator magnets that have come in that we've been passing out and mailing out and giving out. Just had an event this past weekend, gave out several to some of the ladies that were there at that event. And it's just great. It's got our names on it. It's got our contact information. Of course, it has our channel, our YouTube channel. It's yours. Again, all you have to do is go to our channel, the Elevate Talk Show channel, go to the comment segment, and just put in your info, and we'll send this right out to you. So don't hesitate to do that today. Adrianna, how can they find us? Find out where we are?
Yes, so we upload new episodes to our YouTube channel every week. You can also catch us on Comcast DeKalb Channel 25 on Sundays at 7 p.m. Or you can live stream us on Sundays at 7 p.m. at DeKalb25.com.
That's right. So lots of ways to find the Elevate Talk Show. We want to thank all of our listeners, all of our subscribers, all the people who tune in week after week, who have shared our show with their friends, with their family, who have ordered magnets and just supported the show. We want to thank you. We do not take that for granted. That we've been on the air almost a year now, about to celebrate a 1-year anniversary. So we are excited. We are thrilled. We've got new things coming up for you, and we just want to say thank you. Thank you for being faithful listeners and subscribers to this show. We do not take that for granted. We appreciate you guys. Well, our time together is about up, but have a great week, and we will see you next